Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the 3A Final. A lot of good stuff in this game. Crew did a very good job. So let's just roll right into it today. So this first play is something that this is about midway through the game. This is one of those plays when it went on. I had a lot of people blowing up my phone asking me about it. I was not watching this game live. But I thought the crew did a very good job on this play, and I think this play is a very good example of two deeps working together. Come up with a call, because you'll see it. We're gonna have first touching, and then we have the ball. We gotta make a determination if we're going out of bounds or in the end zone. So just one official cannot look at all this. So we have to have these deeps working together. This is where communication comes in. So the first touch, and that is the back judge's call, and he correctly calls it about the 6. And this is a tough one for him, because the player's back is going to be blocking his view, but he can probably see the hand right underneath the player right there. So good job by the back judge of picking that up initially. Now, once the back judge rules on that, we can't ask the back judge to also rule on whether or not this ball goes out of bounds in end zone too. That is all on the field judge here. Field judge is in great position. The only thing I would say, normally I would like to be a little further back off that pylon. I kind of see why he would want to be so close right now, because you're talking about millimeters here about whether or not it's going to be out of bounds or hit the pylon. So I would maybe like a little bit more distance between him and the pylon so he could see that. But at the same time, this is one of those plays you don't really need distance, a wide view on it. You kind of need to be right on top of it. So I'm good either way here. He's the only one in position to make this call. So as you can see, he'll get on the radio. They're talking. Back judge is signaling first touching. So great job mechanically. Obviously, what they have here is they have the option of spot a first touching, or they can take the result of the play. Obviously, in this instance, they're going to take the spot of first touching. So good job overall by the crew here. Good communication by the two deeps. Good example of the deeps having to work together. Alright, these next two talk about intentional grounding. This is another example too. We're going to have a crew discussion. R throws a flag for holding. And now we got a possible intentional grounding. So this is kind of double duty on the white hat here, because you have your spot where you have the hold. You see him adjust the flag. So he has to have that spot. He also has to have the spot where the ball left the quarterback's hand. Where on the field the quarterback was when he threw that pass. Because if we have intentional grounding here, that is going to be a spot of the penalty. So in a situation like this, it wouldn't be bad for the referee. Maybe you drop your beanbag right there. Not as an indication of a fumble or anything, just as a spot indicator. So you can know, oh, I have this is a spot where the ball, where the quarterback was and the ball went out. Just another thing too, maybe referee here, maybe you hold off on your preliminary signal for holding until you communicate with the crew. Now, maybe the crew didn't tell you yet that you have a possible intentional grounding. Obviously, we do not expect the referee to know if that's on the docket. That's up to the downfield officials. But just maybe hold off on the preliminary signal here a little bit until we have all the information. Don't be in a hurry to get preliminary signals. So good crew discussion. And you see we come back with intentional grounding. So they'll wave off the holding. Well, obviously you want to ask the coach first. Most of the time the coach is going to take the intentional grounding on that, because you get yardage and a loss of down. So good job there. And of course, whether or not it was a intentional grounding, very much so. It's a good call there. Remember, intentional grounding. Mostly on the wing official. Deep can help out if it's really downfield, but there's not a receiver in the area. Number 9's right there, but that ball wasn't going toward him. So good job communication there by the crew. Good call for the intentional grounding. Now this is later in the game. Similar play, just without the holding. You got a scramble, and the quarterback's going to check it out of bounds. This looks like a clear case of intentional grounding as well. Let's see with the ball. Ball goes out, 31-32, where that ball lands. There's no one really in the immediate area. If we go to the end zone view, you will see an A receiver about the 45, but that does not count as in the vicinity. General rule of thumb is about 10 yards. Obviously, that's not a hold. That's not a hard cold law. It really is a judgment call more than anything. But generally, we go by 10 yards, and it just does not fit the description there of being in the area. So this should have been intentional grounding as well. All right, moving on. All right, we have opening kickoff here. Gonna have foul called by the referee. May not be able to say that. Pushing the back. That's not the referee, that was the wing official. But it's a good call here. Remember, these blocks in the back, they do not have to be these big egregious blow up hits in the back. It just has to be a block behind, in the player's back that puts them out of position to make the tackle, which is exactly what we have here. Just a shove in the back, not much, but it's a shove in the back, and it displaces the defender out of position where he could have made the tackle. So good call there. See if the end zone view gives you a better shot. Yeah, kind of, not really. Like I said, it doesn't have to be egregious. Doesn't have to be these blow up hits in the back. It just has to be a block in the back that displaces that defender from receiving. Now, if it is an egregious and forceful hit, well, then you can, if it is an egregious and forceful hit, then you can have blindside block. Watching this receiver right here, this inside receiver. He's going to do the same thing. Again, it's not egregious. It's just shoving the back, and it puts him out of position where he could have made the tackle, which is all the requirements you have for blocking the back. And this one may have a little more level of danger to it because he kind of just shoves him into another player, and actually disrupts the play a little bit. So maybe it did make maybe it did have an impact on the play. But either way, you can't shove a player in the back like that. But good call by both officials there. Alright, we got to change the possession play. Anytime we have to change the possession, we reverse the field, whether it be horizontally or vertically. We got to have a little more attention to illegal blocks, and here we're going to have one right there on the sideline. See it right there? This would be a blindside block, an illegal blindside block. Goes uncalled. So, as I like to do, anytime we point out a missed call, I always kind of like to try to look into why it was missed and how we can improve upon, get where we don't miss these calls in the future. And I think this one's just chalked up to attention. I don't think we had the correct eyes on this. I think it was an issue maybe of we have one official, maybe both officials were ball watching, or maybe one official was watching the ball correctly, and maybe this official was turning his tail and trying to get in position. Either way, this is a play we have to have eyes on. Maybe the referee can help out here. I really think it should be the wing, though. I think he should be backpedaling to try to stay ahead of this. Cause it's not a breakaway interception. So I don't think we're gonna have a threatened goal line here. Either way, the wings, you still want them to be backpedaling and in position to cover it in case they do. But I think instead of just turning and trying to run real quick. The wings, they need to kind of watch this area, kind of in front of the ball carrier, and the deep will be coming up. Actually, have the ball carrier in the spot. So, just one of those things where we just don't think we had eyes in the right place. And it happens. Alright, here's a ball. Remember our mechanics in Georgia, the line judge has forward backwards on all passing plays. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, maybe out of the recording frame. But in this play, the line judge actually signals forward. Maybe there at the bottom you see his hand still up and forward. But this is clearly a backward pass. And I know at that angle it's probably hard to see because the line judge is looking right down. And this takes place about 5 yards behind the play. But it's clearly a backward pass. And you can see, there's no way around that. So I think that's just bad angle. It happens. But try to be a little more vigilant. Use markers on the field as much as you can. You can notice he's throwing from the 34. It's caught at the 33. So just kind of use that. But again, I understand angle probably bad here. You're talking about a 1 yard difference. So when you're 5 yards forward, that 1 yard difference probably doesn't seem as great, but we did miss that one there. And on this one, even little pitches like this, we still want an indication of forward or backwards. Because if he drops this, it's an incomplete pass, and we want everyone in the stadium to know, hey, we saw this as forward, so if he drops it, it's incomplete. We want to be on that as quick as we can. So even little toss plays like that, we still want to punch forward or backwards. Alright, let's look at some holding plays. We're going to be looking at the right tackle, maybe the receiver. I think it's that receiver. Again, it doesn't seem like much, but it doesn't matter. We look at feet more than anything. So when the feet are beat, if the feet are in good position, if the feet are not between the ball carrier and the defender, then what are the hands doing? So as we see here, the feet are beat. He's going to reach his hands out and just enough to get him out of position to make the play. And that's all it takes, especially right there at the point of attack. He's going to get those hands around there, hands around his waist or his torso, just enough to get him out of position. It's a good call for holding right there. I think this is on the right guard. And zone angle may be better. Yeah, you see, that's just a takedown hold. Almost textbook. Once those feet are beat, then what do they do with the hands once the feet are beat is a big question. His feet are beat, and he's going to take those hands and just drag them down to the ground. Good call by the referee. Good positioning there, too. Well, hold on. I'm going to look at the back chest position. I didn't notice this the first time. This is a pretty good position with the back chest. Normally, I would say, if you feel that inline being threatened at all, go ahead and move to the inline. But if you know the play is going to be right, the play is going to be made right there at the goal line. I actually like it better than the back chest to stay on that goal line, because see, it gives us a good bracket right there. Good eyes. Yeah, good job, good position, good job there by the deeps. I didn't notice that the first time I was looking at this. Yeah, let's look at holding call here too. Look at the end zone view. It's going to be right there on the edge. Right at the point of attack. As you see, once his feet are beat, he just uses his hands and just drags them down. Good call there. Textbook hold. There's going to be another good holding call by the R. Take a look at the end zone angle. End zone angle is always better when these line of scrimmage plays. But you can see he just, right here, those feet are beat. He just uses his hands illegally and controls them, spins them around. Good call by the referee. So good job. Good job with those holding calls. The last three plays we'll look at all involve false starts. So this one, I know this one's tough. You really hate to call this a false start, but it is, because you know, let's say he's keying off the fullback, this would appear to be a simulation of the snap. Even if he's, you know, losing his balance or whatever, it would still appear to be a simulation of the snap. So this should be a false start. It's not much, but you know, that's a false start. So that was a tough one to call, I know. And the reason you almost have to call that too, because we call this one on the receiver. You know, and it's not much more. It's not much different than what just happened on the fullback. So for consistency's sake, anyway, we want to get those. Now, once an offense player's set, I mean, he's set. That's, even if they fall and lose their balance, you know, still, sorry, gotta call false starts on those. All right, so this one we call a false start, but this is probably more, no, it's not probably, it is, this is more in line with an illegal shift, because this is going to be more two players in motion. All right, so, because he never really gets set. So we're watching all these quarterback and these two backs here. You know, because we can't just assume that he's the quarterback and he's the one receiving the ball. Any one of these can receive the ball. So we have to treat them all as the same. So they all go down together, they're all moving together. But he never really gets set. So that's more, this is an illegal shift. It's a good job that we called something at this, because it's definitely a foul. We just, when it's a live ball foul, we want it to be a live ball foul rather than a dead ball. Because if this play goes on and the defense recovers the ball by fumble or something like that, you know, then we want to give them the ability to keep it if it was the offense that fouled. So then, like I said, this is more of a illegal shift than a false start. Good, it's good that we called it either way, but this is one we would rather see just an illegal shift, because he never really gets set. He just kind of keeps moving. So that's, you know, I don't really know what he was doing there. But either way, we want to foul on that. Let's just make that a legal shift. Alright, that's it for the 3A final. Overall, great job by the crew. I thought it was a well officiated game. And they looked sharp. So, good job by that crew. We will be back next week with either another special video, or we'll be back with the 4A final. Always remember, subscribe and like these videos. And once you subscribe, ring the little bell next to the description so you get notified every time a new video posts. Thank you for all the watching, and thank you for all that subscribed.